A thread by Carlos Osuida. Texas Patriot asks Carlos, "Hi, Carlos. Many are freaking out because of Tucker's monologue last night where he claims Trump could lose unless he starts arresting rioters, etc. Thoughts?" Carlos responds, "Your question dovetails perfectly with a thread I was about to write. I don't watch Tucker Carlson anymore because I got tired of his doom crying that never pans out. He's like one of those apocalyptic religious leaders who give an exact date for the end of the world, and when the day comes, nothing happens and the leader just moves on. Tucker isn't smart enough to understand that the enemies of Donald Trump think they're setting a slick trap for him, but it's a trap based on a false premise. Nobody blames Trump for the failings of mayors and governors. And protests aren't riots. There's no arson. The American voter, as stupid as this sounds, is actually agonizing over what to do. As long as there's no arson or looting, the voter is ambivalent about removing racist monuments. Everyone sees that Trump is protecting federal property. Wisconsin let bovine protesters run wild. Trump didn't. And as people point out, Nixon won re-election by using the same slogan as Trump: law and order. Nixon first term map, 1968. 4 years of war later, Nixon re-election map, 1972. The endless panic isn't actually being felt by the general public. The second wave of COVID-19 is a false narrative for the exact reason I figured it would be. JustTheNews.com refers to Greg Abbott's second lockdown in Texas. Remember, the pandemic itself didn't live up to the media hype. Neither will the second wave. Dueling narratives on Breitbart forced them to take down both headlines. Consumer confidence slipping and retail sales staggeringly higher than predicted. A good phrase to remember: media construct, accent on con. Construct is a noun. Construct is a verb. Sorry, let me reverse that. Construct is a noun. Construct is a verb. So construct is a creation. The bad news is that the American voter has the memory of a gnat. But the good news is that the American voter has the memory of a gnat. This works only in Trump's favor. Not even Trump supporters remember the pre-pandemic days. They were too long ago, 5 months. That means that by November, nobody will remember this madness in a way that negatively impacts Trump. Law and order, said Nixon. Ta-da! Remember the Occupy movement? It was literally a movement, a nationwide bowel movement. Remember the camps that became fields of feces? What were the result of months of collective crapping? Nothing. Not even the 60s changed anything, except that the lawlessness swept a vilified president back into the White House with a 49-state landslide. And Nixon was massively uptight. Is Trump uptight, or is he a supernova of charisma and optimism? Everything happening now works in Trump's favor. Nevada just adopted a mask outdoors policy, and the public is furious at the governor. All the tourism immediately stopped. But Trump anticipated this. That's why he said we'll need a second economic rescue package. Here's a rule of thumb. When Democrats gloat, it means they're about to get hosed, reamed, demolished. They don't understand that the voter gnats will not remember the gloating in 4 months. How many times was Trump counted out in the 2015-2016 campaign season? Now he has the power to shape events. Why in the hell are you listening to Tucker Carlson? I don't get it. You listen to a guy you know will say things that aren't true, and you let it upset you. I listen to Tim Pool because I like him personally, and his doom crying gives me an opportunity to mansplain things. I'll end with a story about being a man. Tucker's monologues are too dumb to deconstruct. If you insist on taking Trump out of the equation, you're hopeless. It's inexcusable for you to think that Trump is sitting around passively hoping everything will work out for him. It means you don't understand him at all. And that means you're not a real supporter. You think Tucker Carlson knows more about winning elections than Trump. Bah, humbug. So, story about being a man. When my brother and I went to the now bankrupt 24-Hour Fitness and swam in their icy pools, there was a guy at the first gym who was terrified of getting old. He always carried a jug of swamp water or something that he swigged off his rocker. One day, he got in the spa along with a bunch of elderly Chinese and he started threatening them, screaming that he was going to wait for them outside and beat them to a pulp. So I went and got a staffer. I learned later that an old guy had accidentally brushed against Swamp Water Man as Swampy got into the hot tub. I said spa earlier. Whoops. So, as the staffer talking to Swampy, periodically Swampy would shout, "I'm a man, and it's sad." It was sad that a man would have to endure being raped in public by 80-year-old perverts. See, my brother and I kept having to go underwater because we were laughing so hard. During the period of mass insanity, my brother and I keep finding ourselves singing, "I'm a man, and it's sad." We do a kind of James Brown take on it. I encourage everyone to think up a slogan that you can sing when you feel that the craziness is too much. Just take a quote from any leftist.